The last iteration of Tyrants and Plebeians was a more role-playish spin-off meant to appeal to intcraft set in East Asia from 1400 to 1870. The Hojo clan was mostly made of players from the New World Order that played on the previous iteration of the server. They are the newest major power to rise in TAP. The Takeda clan was made of int users, so I don't know much about them. In the field, they were skilled enough to launch a naval invasion in response to constant Manchu harassment. The Oda clan, also an int faction, seem to have adapted well enough to Flan's mod combat. The Tokugawa clan is another intcraft faction. Like in our timeline, the Tokugawa would rise to prominence in Japan. The Mori clan is another smaller intcraft faction that would prove capable of standing their ground. From day zero, Satsuma was a huge int faction with over 20 members and had access to the best weapon tech tree. They proved themselves capable both on defense and on offense. The Zhuang tribesmen were full of veterans from TAP's history. However, their manpower was low, and after many skirmishes with the Mongols and the Ming, they decided to join with the Manchus. Tibet was a meme faction of 3 to 4 people who avoided conflict and tried building temples the whole time. Ming was a small faction of TAP veterans, including a server owner. Due to an oversight, the Juson shop was broken and had hacha artillery for free. Thus, the Juson were greedy international arms merchants. Like Satsuma, the Mongols were a 20-plus man super faction of outsiders from intcraft. However, they started in a treeless desert and had the worst tech tree in the game. Their heavy armor is outdated and at a horrible 64-plus iron price which was never fixed. Thus, they relied on captured equipment. Despite these shortcomings, the Mongols succeeded on multiple fronts and fought so ferociously that the server itself could not handle it. Manchuria started as a modest-sized faction of TAP veterans, including myself. By the final day, the faction had grown to Satsuma levels of manpower as other TAP veterans joined.
Woohoo!
Day 0, March 30th. Basic shops were set up, and faction leaders were supposed to set up their factions. However, the staff did not know how to use Townie, so it was a disaster for no one knew what they were doing. Eventually, TAP's Clouder mod was forced back in. Day 1, March 31st. Day 2, April 1st, Skirmish Day. PvP is enabled, but griefing and territory loss is disabled until April 4th. 8:23 p.m., the first battle of Satsuma. Manchu, Mori, Hojo, Oda, and Takeda troops surrounded Satsuma Castle at the same time. The Manchus were probably just visiting and did not participate in the fight. Despite the large alliance, Satsuma possessed the numerical advantage. Most Satsuma troops stayed on the castle, only 1 to 3 on the field at a time. A majority of the attackers took cover in the bamboo forest. The alliance then attempted to advance using mobile cover. The attack failed when Hojo realized you can't drive over fences. Alliance groups then spread out to cover more positions. The battle then degenerated into a stalemate with occasional breach attempts. Goldie then died in a failed one-man escalade. Takeda also suffered a casualty. Both sides refused to leave safety, giving Satsuma and their firearms the advantage. Nothing happened over the next 5 minutes. Eventually, the remaining attackers gave up and retreated. Satsuma, tactical victory. 9:05 p.m., the Battle of Yamaguchi. The Manchus, who ignored the Battle of Satsuma, decided to invade Mori territory. The footage begins with Manchus chasing a Mori into their base. With their minds consumed by bloodlust, the Manchus failed to notice the open doors. A Mori archer then began firing from the roof. Also, a third Manchu showed up. For the next 2 minutes, both sides failed to score a single hit. Then finally, one arrow hit its mark. Thanks to this friendly fire kill, the Mori became confident enough to sally out. Mori, decisive victory. Between 9:10 and 10:30 p.m., the Manchu coastal raids. This is the first incident I personally recorded and participated in. The plan was to attack Satsuma. However, the coordinates I was given led to Oda territory. Here's what was happening while I was lost in Oda land. 9:30 p.m., the second battle of Satsuma. Range combat dragged on for about 2 minutes without any further deaths. Back to the coastal raids. There was no one defending Oda land at this time, so the Manchu attack was pointless. We got bored of waiting and decided to visit Takeda's base. Sometimes, flan vehicles turn invisible if you don't relog from the server. Manchu victory. 10:20 p.m., the Third Battle of Satsuma. This time, the Manchus would muster 7 to 8 men and use expensive brigandine armor for a serious attack. Also, the entire Manchu force was organized in a group voice chat and were capable of crossbow volley fire. After taking back some of the items, I retreated. A tactical victory for Satsuma. This was all the footage I had for day 2, and I want to clear space in my drive, so the episode ends here. On day 3, the Manchu reign of terror continues. While Japan continues to be consumed by war. And on day 5, the war to end all wars would begin.